Hello and welcome to Victoriana. It's the 1st of December and we've got a lovely sharp frost. I think this is the first autumn we've had for a few years now where we've had some decent frosts, and this is day 3 or 4 of it. Very welcome too. It's going to get rid of some of the pests and diseases in the garden and hopefully get rid of a few coughs and colds as well. We've got all our fruit and all our hedging now is out of the ground. We're cracking on now and getting all our back orders out. Hopefully we'll be caught up quite soon. And obviously now is the perfect time for ordering your soft fruit and your hedging and things. And so we'll be continuing sending orders out right up till I think it's about the 21st of December. So perfect Christmas presents there as well. So as I say, around the nursery is obviously autumn wintry time. Things are slowed down here and there, but we're actually pretty busy, so I'll give you a quick run round and show you what we're doing. So here in the bubble, we're already thinking about next year. This is a batch of wild primroses that have just been pricked out, and over here this is the first batch of fuchsia cuttings. These are mainly hardies and half hardies, and these have just come off the heat and now they're on the open bench. Obviously we heat the bubble. We keep the bubble at this time of the year around 7 Celsius, and then after Christmas we start to twist that up a little bit as we get into our other propagation. But that's enough for things like the citrus and the mangoes and some of the other exotic bits that we do, which make fantastic Christmas presents, by the way. So that's one to think about. One thing we are doing this year, and doing a little bit heavier than we have done in previous years, is we're going to try and get most of our chili plants through. Now usually we keep a few, things like the chilterpins and some of the ones that are harder to fruit in their first year. But we've taken the decision this year, as we've got the space, that we've trimmed them all down, or trimmed a good batch of them down, and we're actually going to pop them onto one of our prop beds over Christmas and see if we can keep them running through at a lower temperature than people would do at home, but obviously at a higher temperature than we would normally do. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, so there's quite a lot going on in the bubble at the moment. So up here in the top house is a game of two halves really. Half of it we've got full of potted soft fruits and bits and pieces like that, which outside in their containers wouldn't prove fully hardy if the frosty weather continues. So we're just giving them that tiny little sniff. I mean, we still get a good frost in here, but it just keeps the real edge off. Then we've got lots and lots of perennial bits and pieces, which we're not so much protecting from the frost, but we're protecting from any heavy rains that we get. So as I say, the vents in here are open all the time. Only time we close them is when we get really, really windy weather. So for instance, last night I think we went down to about -3, -4 outside. In here we went down to -1, -1.5. So everything still had a frost, which is the important thing. But as I say, for the small stuff it keeps them sitting there soggy and wet. For some of the fruity bits, it stops the pots completely freezing up solid. So stuff is still hardy, but as I say, in a container, sometimes things can be proved to be not fully hardy. Out here in the veg cage, these little veg transplants, these brassica transplants, are looking quite sad this morning. They've had a really good hard chill, but they will perk up later on in the day. And for us, that's one of the important things, that whatever we're sending out, whatever time of year, it's ready for planting straight out. And as I say, these are getting all the weather that we're getting, and so anyone ordering winter veg plants will know that they're fully hardened off and can go straight outside. But in the rest of the cell area, we've moved an awful lot inside, again, as I've just said, to protect from the wet rather than the really, really cold. So we're pretty empty in this little bit. Here in the veg tunnel, there's actually no veg at all in here. We've got some pots of brassicas and broad beans and peas in the top house, forgot to show you those. But in here we've emptied it out of everything else, and we've brought in the less hardy varieties of grapes. And what I mean by that is that they're fully hardy if they're in the ground, but again, like quite a lot of container grown stuff, if they're in their pots outside through the winter months, you can have one or two problems. So we've moved in, I guess, about a quarter to a third of our container grapes, and they're the ones that aren't so hardy, so specific varieties that we know we can have problems with if they stay out over the winter months. The doors will be left open for most of the time on the tunnel, so it's only a little modicum of protection, but that's really all they need. So yeah, not much in here, just a little bit of protection going on. Out here on the beds, we're about as tidy as we will be for this time of year. We had a pretty drafty weekend a couple of weekends ago, so it's that time of year where we spend an awful lot of time standing things up. But yeah, not much going on out here really. All the container fruit will be quite happy out here, and we just wander through the last of the autumn and into the winter. On the veg garden, it's that time of year where we're digging over the bits and pieces that we can. So the areas that are free of, we've got parsnips and carrots in here. The pea cage is going to stay up, that's just there, it's going to stay up, and we're soon to plant that with some saffron corns that we've been holding back, and they're going there, and that'll be next year's crop that we'll be lifting. Over there is actually this year's crop that we're lifting at the moment. Taken out a couple of pea and bean trenches, and over the winter we'll put all our green waste into these and keep on filling them back with green waste, and then obviously we can plant back into those in sort of May, June time, probably May I should think. And then obviously here we've got some overwinter onions, some overwinter lettuce as well that are out here unprotected, and also the garlic's gone in, which I can see that just one or two are starting to show their faces now, which is a nice thing to see. But yeah, so digging over the bits we can when you can get a spade in the ground, and keeping it all tidy really. So up here in the top field, we're all empty now. It started to pour down with rain the moment we came out here to start lifting, which encouraged us to get everything out the ground quite quickly, which we did this year, and it all went quite well. So this will stay like this basically now until the spring, when we can spin it all over and start again, which I guess is really what growing is all about. It's just that cycle of going round and round and round. So I'll finish off my December clip up here in the vineyard. We've got a little bit of pruning that we will do after Christmas, and then with luck this will be, or next year will be the first year we'll see some fruit on some of these and get some proper extension growth, which will be all good and exciting. But no, so that's it for December, and I guess really that's it for the year. Just leaves me to thank you all for putting up with me and my clips that I do, and most importantly thank you for all your custom for the year. Hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas, whatever they're doing, and obviously just after Christmas it's time to start thinking about sowings and plantings for next year. So yeah, that's it really for 2016, and we'll catch up in 2017.